You know what's fascinating about transformation? Most people think it happens in big dramatic moments. But today we're exploring how some of the most profound changes start with something as simple as water in a jar or a marketplace that needed clearing out.
That's such an interesting way to frame it. I'm particularly struck by how these transformations happened in such contrasting settings, from a joyous wedding to a confrontational scene at the temple.
Well, let's dive into that wedding scene first. Here's Jesus, just starting his public ministry. And instead of some grand entrance, he's at this local celebration in Cana where they've run out of wine, which in those days was more than just embarrassing. It could bring serious shame on the family.
Hmm. And it's his mother Mary who brings this problem to him, right? That interaction between them tells us so much about what's about to change.
Exactly. When she says they have no more wine, his response is fascinating. He calls her woman instead of mother, signaling this fundamental shift in their relationship. And then he mentions this mysterious hour that hasn't yet come.
You know what really stands out to me? The sheer scale of what happens next. 6 stone jars, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. We're talking about transforming around 150 gallons of water into wine.
And not just any wine, the best wine. The banquet master's reaction is priceless because it completely upends the normal practice of serving the good stuff first. This is Jesus' first recorded miracle, and it's already challenging social conventions.
That's such a contrast to what happens next in Jerusalem, isn't it? There's nothing subtle about making a whip and driving merchants out of the temple courts.
Well, you're right about that. The scene shifts dramatically from celebration to confrontation. And here's what's crucial: this wasn't just about commerce in general, but about how they'd turned the court of the Gentiles, the only place where non Jews could worship, into this chaotic marketplace.
So, if we think about it, both stories are really about sacred spaces being transformed, whether it's ordinary water becoming extraordinary wine, or a corrupted worship space being restored to its true purpose.
That's um, exactly right. And when challenged about his authority to do this, Jesus makes this cryptic statement about destroying the temple and raising it in 3 days. Of course, nobody understands at the time that he's talking about his own body.
Well, that brings up something fascinating in the text: how Jesus could see right through people's surface level responses to what was really in their hearts.
That's such a crucial point. Even when crowds were following him because of these miraculous signs, he knew the difference between genuine faith and mere excitement about spectacular events.
Looking at these two stories together, what strikes me is how they show such different aspects of Jesus' character, from quiet generosity to fierce protection of sacred purposes.
And in both cases, he's doing something much deeper than just external changes. Whether it's water into wine or clearing the temple, these are signs pointing to his power to transform people from the inside out.
That really brings it home to our experience today, doesn't it? These aren't just historical events. They're patterns of how transformation still works.
Like, think about it. The same principles apply. Sometimes transformation comes through moments of celebration and abundance, like at the wedding. Other times it comes through confrontation and clearing out what doesn't belong, like at the temple.
So, what you're saying is that real transformation often requires both: the positive filling up with something new, and the challenging removal of what needs to go.
Exactly that. And here's what makes these stories so powerful: they show us that transformation is possible, but it requires us to trust the process, even when we don't fully understand it, just like Mary did at that wedding in Cana.